What's up, beautiful people? It's Friday here in Denver. I kind of had a chill Friday, didn't do much today. Had two meetings with my team, content meeting in the morning, and then we consulted with a creative director from outside who's coming in and shaping some of the brand aesthetics for Aligned HQ. And then I kind of went for lunch, chilled around with Juno, took a nap. So super low-key Friday. I'm not gonna get much more work done today. Want to kind of enjoy the day. It's beautiful out here in Denver, so I'm gonna actually head out and go for a drive while the weather and sunset is still nice. So see you out there. So this month I found myself not making the type of progress that I really wanted to make in terms of speed. There was a lot of things that I was like, okay, we should be achieving faster. Then I found this pattern all across different areas of my life and business, which was, for the longest time, I'd be taking all the non-revenue generating stuff, the activities, and brushing it under the rug. And there was a lot of things that needed to be acted upon. I found myself in this position where these things that I had swept under the rug, even though they weren't that important, kept actually hogging up kind of like mental bandwidth. And when I figured that out, I noticed that, okay, it's causing me to not be as decisive, to not have that bias for action anymore. I'm being sluggish. Once I understood that, then I started to really analyze, okay, where else is this happening? And I found that pattern across multiple areas. So then I realized I really needed to revisit my old identity of being a decisive person, where I just get stuff done, no matter whether it's the biggest revenue generating things or non-revenue generating. When I actually paid attention to it, it literally took me like 2 hours on a Monday morning to just bang them out, but I'd been avoiding them for weeks. And I really was surprised, like, okay, it was pretty easy to just get it taken care of, and it just lifted this sense of relief into me. So it's this concept of constantly like upgrading your identity, because I had found myself slipping into old patterns of being indecisive, being too slow, being too sluggish. So biggest thing for us as founders is to figure out, like, okay, who am I right now? Of course, we know that sometimes we have to be this future person in order to achieve those big dreams. And we start off on that path really well, but somewhere down the line, we might actually find ourselves slipping into old patterns and habits. And it's especially problematic when you start actually becoming successful, because you start actually neglecting a lot of things that you used to do that got you that initial success. You're no longer doing those things, and one thing slips, the other thing slips, and the next thing you know, you are starting to become kind of your old character again. And that's the concerning part. So it's always this game about how can I constantly make sure that I am keeping my inputs steady, the good inputs, but then also looking at my character and my traits and what parts of myself do I really need to upgrade. And you always need to be thinking about it from that standpoint. So that's going to be the biggest thing in terms of just achieving things at a faster speed. It's just like hardware and software. You have to constantly make those upgrades. And then if something is bogging down the software, you need to understand, well, what programs are running right now. That's actually hogging up all the bandwidth, eating up all the RAM. And oftentimes I've found it is the non-revenue generating activities. So don't keep ignoring them. The second thing that really helped me out this week was reminding myself of the old Stoic philosophy, memento mori. This is the thing that keeps coming back to me time and time again, because I always need that constant reminder that life is so precious, that today is a gift, tomorrow is not guaranteed. So if not now, when? When are you gonna really achieve the things that you truly want? And when are you gonna actually start living the life that you truly want? Because the thing is, everything that's between you and being the person that you want, the life that you want, the business that you want, it's literally just thoughts. It's our mental creations that come up in our reality. So if we can think about it, we can actually create it a good thought is what creates success for us. If we're talking about ad creatives, what is that? It's thought, the strategy, everything. So that's the thing. And so sometimes we just need that reminder that, hey, gotta go for it.
And so like I created this little, I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera, this little screensaver with ChatGPT and a little bit of Canva work to remind myself, if you knew how short life is, you waste no moment hesitating. So it kind of goes back into my point one about just knocking stuff out, upgrading your character, being decisive, being an action taker. And with the second thing about memento mori, it's always like, how can I maximize the day that I have? Because tomorrow truly isn't guaranteed.
So you also want to give yourself that exact same reminder. If not now, when? Go after everything that you want with everything that you have. Third thing I want to talk about is all about balancing fire and flow. I'm still always trying to figure out the balance between just relaxing, enjoying the present moment, the life that I have, but then also the fire energy in me that wants to achieve more, wants to go after things. And I think there is no right or wrong answer. You have to figure out what works for you. And I think the best way to understand this, it's kind of like tuning a guitar, right? If the strings are a little bit too loose, doesn't sound good, it's out of tune. But then if it's also a little too tight, same thing, it becomes out of tune. There's always that perfect sweet spot, and that sweet spot will depend on the instrument. So us as human beings, we are all different instruments. For me, I think I lean a little bit more towards that fire energy, even though I love having that balance, that calm. But because I do have big ambitions and I want to create a bigger vision and bring that to life and create more impact, I think having more of that fire energy in me, that's where I perform. If I'm like numerically putting it, probably like 6.5 or 7 fire, 3 is flow. That's the perfect balance for me. So you have to also figure out what's your ideal balance. Because sometimes when I have a little bit more flow or a little too much flow, I'm just chilling, enjoying life, and I'm like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. But when I'm just 10 out of 10 just fire, it's a little bit too much energy, a little too chaotic. So again, find that delicate balance and you're going to enjoy life more, but then also create that business that's creating a greater impact in the world. And I think this is why I keep talking about purpose, profit, and play. Those three things is super important for me. I definitely want to do everything that's aligned with my purpose. I want to make a ton of profit so I can fund my purpose. And then I also want to enjoy. This is why I live in Denver, beautiful area that I can just come out for a drive like this, and this is kind of my little evening. So anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video. See you next time.